There we go. Okay. My goodness. That was some technical difficulties. Stuff wasn't wanting to work. So sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, I had all kinds of technical difficulties today. First, my desk wouldn't. I have a standing desk, and it wouldn't come up. And then I won't go into it all. But yeah, all kinds of stuff wasn't working. So excellent, sounds good. Thank you very much, David. You knew what I was going to ask. It's been a few weeks. So yeah, it's been a really super busy few weeks. And I have to admit, I'm super busy right now, but I didn't want to skip, sharing some awesomeness with all of you guys. Okay. I already see some questions in the chat. Mr. Cole is wondering if Total CMS 3 is out of beta yet. It is not out of beta yet. But I feel that what is there isn't beta software anymore. Okay. The reason that it's still in beta is that, there's just things that I need to get done, such as of this week, I'm actually working on the whole new licensing and purchasing of licensing systems. So that stuff doesn't interact with doesn't mess with the functionality of the product at all. Obviously, it's not bug free. I still have a bunch of fixes that I will get in this next beta, hopefully by next week. But with that said, the CMS itself is rock solid. There's already been some really amazing websites built with it. And yeah, it's definitely production ready. The only thing that's waiting on me is allowing you to buy it and actually get licenses, which I think you've already purchased a copy, Mr. Cole. So you can go ahead and use that. Eventually, once I get the licensing system built and up and running, I'll send to all of you, everyone that purchased a license. And there's other things I need to do, such as documentation. I need to, polish the stacks up a little bit. The stacks currently don't have unique icons and, stuff like that. It really isn't necessarily the functionality of the CMS. It's all adding the polish to the app, right? So anyway, there we go. Excellent. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks. So, 4 weeks ago, I came up with a goal for myself to ship 6 products in 3 weeks. And I missed it. Probably if you guys saw my newsletter, I did miss that goal, right? I officially shipped 4 products in 3 weeks, which is still pretty darn good. Okay. And I have one more that the product is actually done. Prints, but I haven't released it yet because, well, this week is WWDC, and if anything I've learned over the past 15 years is thou shalt not release on the week of WWDC. So I'm not releasing it until next week officially, but you'll guys get a tour today. So there we go. Stacks Pro. Stacks Pro is Steve. It is now called Stacks 6. We've dropped the Pro from the name. It's just going to be called Stacks. Stacks version 6 is going to be the app. That is currently in beta as well. And actually, Isaiah just was posting on his Discord channel today some screenshots of it already running in Tahoe. So yeah, he's going to wrap up this current beta release with a little bow. He wanted to see what surprises Apple had in store for him this week before he shipped a beta. So I know he's working on a few things to make sure that, some things are fixed. And yeah, then we should have a new beta pretty soon. Okay. I was hoping we get it. I think if this week wasn't WWDC week, pretty sure we'd have a beta this week. But because of WWDC and some surprises Apple shipped or didn't ship, yeah, we'll probably have to delay that. So I don't want to give you a time frame because I could say next week and then it'll be 2 weeks from now. I don't know, but pretty soon we should have a new beta for Stacks 6. I will confirm that it has a bunch of background fixes for some Sparkle, some Stacks update stuff. There are some crashers for, opening up various project files, crashes for pasting stuff between your existing stacks projects in stack 6. And then PHP, big major update to the PHP engine in preview, so that stacks like feeds and whatnot. I will confirm that feeds now works great within preview. I still need a little bit of work, and this is on me, some work on Total CMS 3 within Stacks Preview. I had to do some special magic to get it to work in RapidWeaver Preview, and Stacks Preview is just slightly different, so I have to come up with a new fix for that. Okay, so some new tweaks so that Total CMS 3 will work. Total CMS 3, the stack itself, will work just fine if you're willing to publish, maybe either locally or to your server. It will work 100%. It should. Again, I haven't tested that because, I'm still working on getting the preview working of that. So anyway, okay. But anyway, that's enough about the betas. If you guys have any more questions about any of that, happy to answer more at the end. Okay, but let's start diving into some of the awesome new products. And I have two products that aren't even mine that I'm going to show off. I don't know if Johan is here at all. But yeah, we're gonna show off 2 products of his. I don't have the stacks itself, but we can go ahead and look at the product pages. Okay, so let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and then we're gonna dive in and let's go ahead and look at. I'm just gonna open up a browser. We're gonna go to the first stack. Which seems like I released this so long ago, but it was only 3 weeks ago that I shipped FitText. Crazy. It really feels like I shipped FitText like months ago. It feels like that's how much I've worked in the past 3 weeks. It was only 3 weeks ago I released this. I guess technically 4 weeks ago. Okay, but we're gonna count it. 3.5. Okay. So what is FitText? Okay. Hopefully you've watched the video on this page. Super short. I think it's only like a 4-minute video, a 3-minute video. Okay. But it allows us to nicely dynamically size headers. Right. So really cool. Man, it feels like I've shipped this so long ago, and I know I've never showed it on a live stream. So here we go. Right. As you see, it allows us to dynamically, the headers will dynamically size for the browser. Okay, so no matter what the browser is, it will dynamically fit the text. Okay, it comes with 2 different stacks. Actually, it comes with FitText and FitText JS. Okay, now you might be wondering what's the difference here. If we look at this particular one here, we'll notice that as I resize the browser, the text is dynamically sizing with the browser. Okay, but this one down here, it kind of waits a little bit. It kind of waits a little bit. Again, our users aren't going to be doing this anyway, right? But FitText JS ensures that the header or your text automatically fills up the entire space. If we look at the R here, we'll notice that it is always going to be to the end of that box, right? Whereas this one here, it's close. But this one uses just native CSS. This one uses a little bit of JavaScript to accomplish that. So if you don't need a header to go full exactly with and fill an exact area, I'd recommend just using the normal FitText stack. Else, we do have the FitText JS, which uses some JavaScript to ensure it's like pixel perfect width, right? Here's a cool use case of FitText. It's some cool like little banner, kind of banner text, which is always nice. Okay. I guess here we'll go ahead and we will open up the project file. And most of the project files today, we're going to be looking at them inside Stack 6. Okay. This is the FitText demo file. This actually ships with the stacks. Every stack I release from now on will come with a Stacks 6 project file. Okay. I get a lot of people asking, what's this FitText.stack folder in my download? Well, if you have Stack 6 installed, it doesn't look like a folder and it looks like a project file. So here, I'll just show it off. Let's go and go into, I'll find FitText. So there we go. It is a .stacks file. Okay. So there we go. This is what comes with a stack now. Maybe eventually we'll stop shipping Rappi 8 projects. Okay. But yeah, here is the actual stack. Here is the stacks project file. And if you don't have Stack 6 installed, this will show up as a folder. Okay. But hopefully everyone here has Stack 6. If you don't know where to get it, go on the community, on the Weaverspace community, and there's links there in the announcement, and you can download the latest beta for stacks. Okay. Actually, in any stack I ship, will also have a link here to the stacks download. Okay, so actually, I didn't even test that, but anyway, I think any stack that I've shipped since I think last week, so FitText actually might not have it, should have a link to the stacks thing. Let's go ahead and it'll look like that, right? So it'll be Stacks app download. It'll be that little icon. And if you double click on that, that will download Stacks. Okay. So there we go. That will download the Stacks app. Anyway, let's get back to this project file. Keep talking about Stack 6, which is awesome. Here's a demo. Again, this is the project file that ships with FitText. Okay. And you'll notice that we have 2 stacks. We have FitText and FitText.js. Okay. And the settings are going to be very, very, very similar. Okay. Because the sizing in FitText.js uses this CSS so that you get really close to the size that we need. And then the JS kicks in to allow that, that full width guaranteed. Okay. But here, basically what you do is you supply what HTML element you want for SEO purposes. Okay. You supply the minimum size and at what breakpoint. So here by default at 320 pixels, it's going to be 32 pixels tall. And then at 1240 pixels, it will be 94 pixels tall. So everything in between there, it's dynamically sizing it. Okay. The CSS behind this is actually pretty nuts. It actually uses algebra in the CSS to predict the linear scale. I had to calculate y-intercepts and slopes and y-intercepts to do all that. If any of you know what any of that is, linear algebra to basically scale this text beautifully. Super cool, really awesome stuff. Okay, configurations really easy to use. If we go ahead and preview in this, we can just, as we can see, we can dynamically size that. Okay. And here's the demo of it being used inside of a classic kind of banner, Then down on the page, you'll notice that it not only comes with FitText and FitText.js, but it also comes with swatches. Okay. So in this demo here, I'm using FitText.js. Okay. And this is the FitText.js swatch that I am running on this banner right here. Okay. Now, if you want to see how I did all of this, I used some various swatches to kind of, if we preview this again, to change the fonts on some of these, to change some of the weights, to change what, the size and the color, on various lines. If you're curious how I do that, this is all with some spans inside of a header. Okay. I just, in my header stack, this is just a straight up, I think this is a Foundation 6 header, or this could be a starter pack header. I think it's a starter pack header, but same implementation goes both ways. You can go ahead and add spans to do all of so I can target each individual line here, right? And then you can go through these styles and kind of see how I did that. You can, I can target the spans, I can target the even ones. I'm using the nth child even, and then I'm using nth child odd to do other stuff. And then the FitText.js makes it all fit beautifully, right? So pretty cool there. That's how we can get it all to fit in this cool little text block like that. That's a perfect use case for FitText.js because I want to make sure that all the lines are uniform on both sides. Okay. So anyway, go check out. That's all for FitText. It's super simple stack to use. And yeah, a lot of people have already said, wow, this is their new favorite stack, right? And they're using it on all the headers and whatnot on their sites. So go check that out. Are there any questions on that? Okay, cool. Hey, Rion, thanks for coming in. Just saw your chat. And we got Scott Williams in the house too. Cool. The next stack that was released, okay, we'll go through all my stacks first. The next one is Eclipse. Oops, if I can learn how to type. Okay. Now, Eclipse, this is a new version. The prior version of Eclipse basically did background slideshows and video for the entire website. So it did like website background. But what's super different about the new version, okay, is that you can add background video and slideshows to anything. It can still do your website background, okay, but the power is that you can add it to any container that you want, right? So perfect, like as you see right here, I had the video that then transitions directly into a static image. You can also, if you notice, this one is a slideshow, but I've added an overlay and a blur effect, right? And we also have a little timer at the bottom so you can kind of see when things are, going to change. And all that settings inside the stack. The stack's pretty easy to use. I think it's pretty cool, okay? So as you see, we got backgrounds, a slideshow here, and you can mix actually video and images, okay, which is really cool. I think the next slide is going to be video. Nope, I think it's slide number 2. Hold on, let's see. Whatever. You can intermix video and images, as you saw in this one, right? It had a video and then an image. Okay, so it's really cool that you can do that. As I said, it has overlays. Okay, so here's it actually ships with 30 different overlay images that allow you to add a little bit of kind of a barrier between your background image and the content, right? Now, this one here uses like just a solid color, uses like a transparent black, and then obviously we apply a blur effect, right? But these overlay images, as you see, it gives you a little design as well, like it's either a grid or a mesh or something like that. So they're extremely small PNGs. I have light and dark versions. Actually, if we click on this overlay gallery, you can see examples of all of them. And in this gallery, if you hover over, you can see the image with and without that overlay image, right? That's a feature of just of the demo page, so you can kind of see that. That's not necessarily a feature of the stack. I don't think it's really something you probably want. But it is. It allows you to kind of see the difference on what that overlay does. And because overlays, you can also do like opacity on it. You can really make it subtle or kind of in your face if you need to. Okay. Such as this one right here is kind of in your face a little bit. Maybe it'll look better if I made this particular demo here, maybe increase the opacity a little bit or something, right? So as you see, there's a lot of, demos here. As you see further down, these are the light demos and there's dark. So there's dark overlays and light overlays. Okay. And all of these overlays exist inside of the Stacks library in the Images tab. Okay. All right, let's go back. This last demo was really interesting in that, I had an idea of, well, what if I don't really want images? Like images maybe it's too heavy for my layout. I just want something super subtle and nice. So I give you the ability to have just a simple colored background slide. And as you see here, this is a gradient and we have different colors kind of fading in. So it's doing a slideshow, but it's a slideshow of just colors, right? So it gives a very interesting effect. Very subtle, but can add some eye-catching, sections to your site. Pretty nice. Okay. Now, built for performance. What this means is, while you can't see this, okay, whenever Eclipse goes out of the view, the slideshow is paused. Also, all videos are paused. The reason that's important is because we don't want to use up a system's resources, especially on phones and mobile, when we don't have to. So when these are scrolled out of view and it's paused, okay, if you notice, if I scroll back down, it's still on that same slide that it was before, right? It didn't transition. And that's because it paused when it was out of view, right? So really cool. Same thing for videos. Videos will pause when they're out of view, okay? I skipped over the full screen demos. Let's go ahead and click on that. So here's an example of, a video that can be used as the background of your website, right? I think this video is just too cool. I saw it and was like, I have to use that in my demo, right? So anyway, yeah. This is an example of how you can have a full screen video as the background of the website. Now, when it's the background of the website, if we look at this next demo, we'll kind of see how that behaves, right? So here we have a background video, okay? But when I scroll, you'll notice that it is the background of the website, okay? So the content will scroll over it, right? So that's how the effect works when you're using Eclipse to fill in the background of a website. This is basically what Eclipse used to be. It used to be just this. But I think, giving the ability to have it on anything you want gives us a lot more flexibility. Makes the stack much more usable. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's have a look at the project file. Let's go to Eclipse 2. And again, this is the stacks project file that comes with the stack. And let's just go ahead and look at, here is the first demo, okay? And this is the one that has the video and the image, right? It's that first demo that we saw. And in Eclipse, you'll notice that there actually aren't too many settings. It does a lot with just a little bit of settings here, okay? So we have delay and fade effects. So how long do we want to pause on each slide? And how long do we want that fade transition to happen, okay? A lot of times for normal like sliders, you want a fast transition. But I found for something like this that's in the background, you want it slow, right? You don't want someone to notice that it's changing. So you really want it, in my opinion, to be slow. So that's why, a lot of my demos here, I have it 4 to 5, 6 seconds between the fade transitions. Now you definitely want to make sure that your fade is lower than your delay, or else things aren't going to work well. Okay. So your delay has to be a bigger number than the fade. Okay. But here, if you want to add it to be a site background, and you can shuffle slides, you can loop through the slides. If you have loop like this demo, once it reached the last slide, which was the image, it stopped, right? So if I didn't want that to happen, I can turn on loop slides and it will just kind of keep going in a loop. You can fade in first slide. So basically on page load, it'll fade that background in instead of just being there. Okay. You can show or hide the timer, and there's options for that. And then obviously you can show or hide the overlay. If you don't want an overlay tile, just leave this image blank. And then you can drag in the images from your library into here, those tile images. Okay. And then you can adjust the opacity. And if you want a colored background, you would add that there, and you can adjust the opacity. There's also custom classes, so you can tweak this as much as you want with swatches, right? So as here, I have, I've added padding and a border radius, and I've given it alt colors, right? So these aren't necessarily, obviously aren't Eclipse specific, but a really great way to show how we can use swatches with Eclipse to give something like those rounded corners that we saw in the demo here, right? Now, adding slides is super easy. There's a little child stack. Now you can add whatever content you want in here. Here I just have a couple headers, but you can add in, as you see in here, I have a lot more columns, a 3-column content with some icons and whatnot. And below that, I have all my slides. Now, when we go ahead and add our slides, you can add in Eclipse videos, an Eclipse video, an image warehouse, an Eclipse color. Okay. So yeah. And each one of those will have its own settings, right? So video obviously has, you have to give it the URL to a poster image, a URL to your video, and we allow you to have, small, medium, and large videos. Same thing for images, where you can have a small, medium, and large, or default image, and then you can supply custom ones for medium and large if you wanted, right? So super flexible there. Now, actually, one thing that we can do, if we look at this particular demo, now on the Eclipse slides, you'll notice when we added an overlay, we just had three options. We have a color. You can actually add a transparency to the color, and then you can add an opacity to the overall overlay. Okay. Now, if we look at the overlay settings here in each slide, okay, you can add a custom overlay for every slide. So maybe every slide you want to have a different color overlay or some different settings. But one feature we get when we add a slide is that we can add a blur. Okay. Unfortunately, the way the overlay happens at the entire Eclipse level, you cannot do blurs. Okay. Things don't work. It works only if you add it to every single specific image. Okay. Or slide, I should say, because you can add it to video as well. Now, a quick way, if you want to quickly do this, is just kind of select all of your stacks and just do Option or Command click all of them. And then, Command click all the same slides, and then you can adjust the settings. Okay. If I Command click the video is a different stack, so it doesn't show any settings. So in this case, I have a video and 4 images. I could select all the images and then, show that. Okay. Next up. So, yep. And then if we look at further down, here's an example of, the tiles are super small, so you can't really notice that there's an image in there, but there's a tiled image dragged into there. Okay. And then here's an example of color slides, right? Where I just have a color in the slide. Now this one in particular actually have a class that uses a gradient swatch and applies a gradient, to that particular slide. So something a little bit different that uses a swatch. Swatch is probably somewhere on the top. Oh, right here, right? So it just uses a normal gradient background swatch to create this custom gradient. So pretty cool. Okay. All right, next up, we're going to look at the 2 accordions that I shipped last week. Or last week before. Okay. Time flies when you're having fun. So the first one we'll look at is kind of the simpler of the 2, and that is drawers. Okay. And drawers is just a simple, no-nonsense accordion. Okay. Here we have an example of an accordion where, a particular drawer will open one at a time. It has a nice animation, kind of has that traditional accordion look. In this example down here, we can actually have multiple open. Okay, so you see we can style things slightly differently. I have no little marker. Here we have a little open and close marker. That's just kind of simple, right? Obviously we've styled things slightly differently. Here it has a background that's tied to it. So kind of each one looks like it's kind of like this individual little item. Okay. And then the last kind of a demo we have here is kind of your traditional FAQ look, where each individual one is just kind of a text box. We don't really have like a block look to the title. It's just some text that when you open it, it shows off the content in the background, right? Now, what's also really cool is, where do I have, in this demo here, you can actually link directly to a drawer. So when I click on this particular link, it'll take me directly to drawer number 2. Now, what's cool is you can link these from a link on the page, or you can link them from an external page. So if you want to link to a drawer number 2 from a different page, you can do that, right? So it's really, really easy to do that. Okay. And let's see how hard that is or easy it is to use drawers. So as usual, this is the demo file that ships with drawers. And here is the drawer stack. And just like a lot of other stacks that, obviously have various child components to it, we have the ability to add multiple drawers here, just with the plus button at the bottom. Okay. And inside of that, you can add whatever content you want. Okay. So here we have in the drawer stack, let's look at some of the main settings we have in the parent drawers stack. We can have one drawer open at a time. First, we can open the first drawer on load, right? Now, what's powerful about this, which is different than many other accordions, is you can drag and drop these, right? So, I can drag and drop these accordion items around, or these drawers, and change the order. But sometimes you just want to say, hey, open the first one on load. And that's it. Whether or not we want to show markers or not. Okay. Now, I do have to say, with markers, inside preview, sometimes especially if you use a custom marker, they don't necessarily change. Okay. But if you preview in the browser, you'll notice the markers are what you would expect. Okay. So I saw you can do custom markers here. You can change the size of the marker. And then we have two animations, just to keep it simple. We have one and two different animations that you can toggle between. And then the timing, basically how long does it take to open and close. The content background by default is going to be transparent. So basically you just set this to be opacity 0. There's no content in the drawer content, but you probably want to have padding, right? So we can change add some padding there. Now for the titles, we have a lot of options, right? We have a background color option, text color options, borders, gutters in between. So do you want any spaces in between? If you want to see, if I set this gutter to 0, they're basically going to be right on top of each other. Now, if you have a border, that you probably want a gutter. It doesn't really look great there. But yeah, if this particular demo, like if they were touching each other, they'd probably look pretty good. Okay. So there we go. Obviously font size, padding, and all that jazz. And then obviously, is like anything, you can apply classes, so you can use swatches to style stuff. Now inside the individual drawer stack, the main setting here is if you want to link to an item, you have to turn that on and then give it a unique ID. And this ID has to be unique on the page. Every drawer can have its own unique link. And basically how you would link to that is how you'd seen it many other times. You just link to the hashtag. So you do hashtag and then the ID, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Anywhere on the page, or if you add it to the URL from a different page, just link directly to that drawer. It will scroll to that drawer and open it all at the same time. Franco said, in some themes, he noticed markers do not show up. I shipped an update. At least I hope I shipped this update, that this show markers box is on by default. Just make sure that that's on. And the update that I just shipped last week, I think, should show the markers, because actually on my Weaverspace site, the markers were not showing. So I made sure I ship an update that allowed, to kind of force those. So it's controlled whether or not this checkbox show markers is set. If it is turned on and you still don't see your markers, let me know. I'll have a look and I'll get another update out. Okay. But this should be pretty good. It should be pretty stringent, but let me know if that ever happens, Franco. Thanks for letting me know about that. Okay. So that's drawers, everybody. Again, it's just a simple, no nonsense accordion that works really, really well. Okay. Now let's go up to the last, or the last new demo from me. Okay. And let's go to SqueezeBox. Now, SqueezeBox is kind of like the big brother of drawers. It is still an accordion, okay? But we just have a lot more styles and customability, okay? Customizability? I don't know. Wordsmiths out there. Is that a word? Customizability? The ability to customize. There we go, okay? So yeah, there's just a lot of different options. Now, you might think, oh, those don't look all that great, or, they don't look all that special. It's always the little minor details, guys. Okay. If you talk to any major, so if you know Davide from Foundation Box, So what made me kind of go down this route with SqueezeBox was he showed me one of his project files, and the number of swatches that he needed to customize the Foundation 6 accordion to look good in all situations was insane. Okay. So I was like, I need to make sure that all those settings are taken care of in a very smart way. And let me give you some examples here. All right, so let's look at these demos. Now, first off, this first demo here is actually what you get out of the box. So this is actually an instance of SqueezeBox with 0 changes. This is what it looks like out of the box. What you'll notice is that we have dividers in between each one. Okay. Now, when I open it, you'll notice that there's a content background. It kind of looks like one unit, right? When I open this, the bottom border is gone. Okay. I have round corners set, but it only sets the round corners on where it makes sense, which is around the outside of the box. Box 2 doesn't have any border radius, but box 3 does on the bottom. Now, when I open this bottom box, you'll notice that here, because I have a background here, the corners on this are now square and the round corners are down here, right? So all these little attention to details is what makes this smart layout work. Now let's look at this example with no borders, okay? So here it kind of has a uniform look of a box. There's no borders. When I hover over it, we have different styles. And when I click on that, now this is different. There's no background color here. It shows the background of the site. So in this case, SqueezeBox does something different. What it does is it actually adds round corners to the bottom and to the top of this one, right? So that no matter now, if I open box 2, the round corners are here and here, right? So all these little details make a big difference for something that's very polished. Okay. I won't dive into all the other things, but that is just one little thing. You know, there's things with borders colliding, making sure that we don't have, like in this example here, I can't have a border on this and this because that would look bad with 2 lines, right? Just like kind of like what I saw when we had the borders with the no gutter and drawers, right? SqueezeBox takes care of that. So it eliminates that. So we only have one thin border line, right? Which is nice. In this example here, each one kind of looks like its own individual boxed component with a gutter. The border in this case goes all the way around. Okay. You'll notice that we have custom animations and custom icons over here. Okay. Here we have no border. Okay. Another custom icon with a custom animation. And here we have, again, that kind of the look like we had up here, but with gutters. Now, when we have a gutter, we want to make sure that the round corners are always visible on everything, right? But on this one, if you notice here, we have the round corners, and when I open it, the round corners are at the bottom of each individual item. All these are just kind of various small little details that make SqueezeBox different and set apart from everything else. It does a lot of the hard work for you. Okay. So here's again another traditional kind of layout, kind of the FAQ style layout that you can also do with SqueezeBox. Okay. And just like with drawers, you can link to a particular well, let's close it and then click on it. You can link to a particular section and do that. I kind of liked this custom animation is kind of cool. I like it how it grows when you open it. Pretty slick. Davide says I can show the project file. Davide is going to be releasing something pretty soon. I don't know if I have the final version of the project file, but I'll definitely open it. So, or I don't know if that's a project file you wanted me to show off, Davide. So I don't know if you're cool with that. But maybe I'll show it off. Okay. I'll give you a sneak peek to people. You give me the thumbs up if you want me to show that off to people, Davide. Okay. Sweet. That does it for the stacks that I've already released. Okay, to give you guys a little break, let's jump over the community. And Johan has released a couple of really amazing products that I think are just kind of different. I really like them. So first one's Paginator. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at that. And Paginator, what it does is it allows you to, it's still thinking. Okay. It allows you to add pagination to any kind of existing layout that you have, right? So in this case here, he has Columns Pro, and he's just paginating through the items in Columns Pro, right? Pretty clever, okay? Here he has an example of a block grid, and he's paginating through that, right? And actually, I like if you click on, I think it was on mobile I did it. The interface for this paginator is actually quite nice on mobile as well. I think you can like tap this and it gives you like a little thing, but you can also type in, I think if I wanted to go to page 2 or something like that, you can say go and voila, right? So it's a nice interface. This allows you to navigate through, here's a example of Bento, okay? And you can paginate through Bento, which is interesting, okay? Here's a total, I don't think this demo wasn't here before. I don't think, maybe it was. I totally missed this one. It's kind of interesting where you can paginate through a total CMS 1 blog list. What? Pretty crazy. Awesome. Paginator image viewer, right? Not sure what's behind it, but there we go. Pretty interesting. So there we go. That's the paginator stack. Pretty slick. Go check that out. It is on the community. Just go to the announcements section, and it's currently the top one, right? So check that out. But he had another one that was released that actually it was on that demo. Actually had a demo of it, but I think this is a pretty clever little stack. Okay. And this is this is called PDF First Look. Okay. And it is really interesting. Okay. I have to say, I'm quite impressed with it. And basically what it is, you give it a PDF and it displays the first page of your PDF as an image. Okay. And you can either download or you can just say, show the PDF, and it will take you to the PDF. Maybe you can click on it and use PDF Pro or something like that in a Lightbox or something like that. But yeah, you can click on download PDF. It looks like maybe you can also round the corners off. Some of them have, I think he has different styles. This one has like a little glow to it. So yeah, it's different shadows, round corners. So you can add a lot of, kind of styles to that. Wonder if you can use swatches to style them. I don't know. Again, I don't have the stack, but very clever. I like it. It's something different that I don't think I've ever seen this on the web. So good job on that, Johan. I like it. PDF First Look. Check that one out. Okay. All right. Let's see if Davide sent me the latest version of something here. Let's go ahead and download. All right. So Davide has a new project file coming up. Okay. And let's preview it online. Okay. And super cool. Okay. It's his first project file in quite a long time. And another first, it actually comes with his first ever released stacks, which are right here. These little, here, if we reload the page, you'll see it has these little graphs that have little thing that counts up, and these little things that count up as well. So yeah, those are his very first ever stacks. I believe you get those for free if you buy the project file. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Okay. I think he has a light and a pro version. The pro version comes with a full admin area that's built with Total CMS. I believe it currently uses Total CMS 1, but he has it ready for Total CMS 3 for when that's ready, since everyone's still using Total CMS 1 a lot right now, right? So yeah, I think the purpose of this web page or this project file was to kind of show off a nice portfolio or like an online resume. Okay. Super nice, very elegant. We got the banner up here. I think this is actually using Eclipse, the new Eclipse that I just showed off. I love when this goes sticky, it kind of has a new kind of pill look that shows off everything, and it gets a drop shadow. Super elegant. Love that. Okay. Really, really love that. Okay. Obviously, we have these new stacks here that kind of are the dynamic counters. Again, I'm not sure exactly what options are in here. I actually do have these stacks, but I haven't played with them. Okay, so sorry about that, Davide. Here is the accordion now this is a Foundation 6 accordion, okay? But Davide showed me the swatches that he used to build this effect, and wow, it was a lot. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to make that better for people. Hence, SqueezeBox happened. Okay, so yeah, this does use the Foundation 6 accordion with a shit ton of swatches, okay, to style it like this. Okay. Another thing that's great, I think in the background, this uses parallax, my parallax stack, that as you scroll up and down the page, you get that nice, it animates side to side as you scroll, right? A really nice effect. Okay. Obviously, you have a slider with a nice accents. I like the font choice here on the names. Pretty cool. Okay. Here's an example of here where you can add in your education and basically like your work experience. And what's really cool is this is just a normal Total CMS blog list, right? So you add in your education via a Total CMS blog, and it will dynamically build that here, build the timeline out for you. Really cool. Again, no special stacks here. It's just Total CMS blog list. Pretty slick. Okay. Now down here, we have the portfolio. Now, I think for all intents and purposes, this was intended to be like a one-page website. Again, kind of like a resume, right? But when you want to display your portfolio, you want the pages to, you want to have more, especially like if you have multiple of these. Like if you have a large portfolio that you want to display, if you click on this, basically, I think, will it work? Yeah, it takes you to the portfolio page, right? So that way you can list out some portfolios. You can go back to view all projects. And there is a project specific page. Okay, so if you go to the portfolio page, that's the portfolio section. Oh, I'm not sure how you link to that portfolio page, Davide. But yeah, you can click through to the individual projects, and then you can see all projects via the view all projects. But oh, there it is. Not sure how to get to this page from the home page though, Davide. Just saying. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go back to about. All right. So anyway, so yeah, here's the blog list. You can add individual projects. Or we didn't even dive into this. I love the simplicity of this page, right? Super clean, super simple. Yeah, just very elegant. I love the kind of monotone. You let the images give you the color, right? Everything else is, the content is king on this page. I like that a lot. Good job. I love this the date style here is very well done as well. A lot of the little things. Very nicely styled. Good typography. I like the font choice. It's clever. Very nice. All right, let's go back. We were at the portfolio section, I think. Yep. And at the bottom here, you're obviously cool. Or we're at the end. So we're at the contact form, where you can contact, you or whomever this is. Have a nice little map over there. So yeah, super nice project. And I think he just sent me the latest project file. And I do want to share that because let's find it here. Oops. I know it downloaded it. What happened? Download. Continue to download. Oh, sorry. It's downloading now. All right. Now, what is, I think, going to set this project apart is it's the first project file released after the folder stack. And why is that important? Because, I mean, come on, look how beautiful this is, right? Well, Davide, you need to make sure when you ship this, it's shipped with them all collapsed. Okay, so when someone opens it up, it's like, bah! And make sure you save it with the home page so it opens up in the home page. Little things here. There we go. Look at that. Look at this homepage, Okay. He up at the top, he has nicely styled kind of instructions, but only that, like, this is a perfect example of why. Now, if you don't have my starter pack, okay, it is free. So you have no excuses not to go download it. And if you want to give me a tip, because I worked my ass off on folders and pen and everything else in that stack set, it's pretty insane what you get. Okay. You get a lot of stacks for free. Okay. And it even has swatches now. Okay. Which is something I also shipped in the past month. Okay. Swatches for everybody. It's pretty cool. But anyway, this update that I shipped for folder, was that this week or last week? I don't remember. All the times blurring together now. Okay, I think it was last week. Where now inside, when you collapse a folder, it automatically shows all pens that are inside, so you can kind of see a nice hierarchy of everything that's inside of that folder. This is a game-changing way to organize our project files, okay? Because there's no longer, if they're properly organized with folder and pen stacks, you can easily see what is where, okay? And the reason I designed this is because I saw people using project files and they would be like searching for stuff. And they're like, where is site styles? I don't know where it is, right? And so now we have the ability to, now Davide has it right up at the top, which is nice, okay? But you have the ability to, let's say, where's my mobile menu? Well, here it is, right? Where's my side menu at? Well, look, there it is right there. Oh, where's that jobs accordion? Oh, there it is right there, right? So I know it's inside this folder. I can go into it and I can find stuff. Pretty cool, right? So I'm not going to dive into all the details of this project file, but I just wanted to show off the amazing ability and what Davide's done with folder to kind of organize, to make the workflow of using a project file and finding stuff and organizing your projects way better. Okay. So this is just a testament to, And also thanks for Davide. I mean, this project file, we used a lot of back and forth with how can we optimize folder and pen to make this better. And I think we've definitely nailed it. Okay. So, project files moving forward. Hopefully people are going to be using, concepts like this, where it can make organizing your pages so much better. Okay. So pretty cool stuff there. Yeah, Davide. Yeah, all the little things I nitpicked about him. Sorry for picking on you. It's not released yet, but yeah, pretty cool. Okay. I really love this little pill thing. It reminds me of like a toggle, but like flipped, or rotated, I should say. I like it. Love it. I wonder if it'd be, wonder what some kind of animation, like you can make it so it like drops all the way down and like, I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. Not sure what you could do, but like, yeah, I want to make that thing go down for some reason, because it kind of reminds me of that, of a sideways toggle. You know what I mean? So anyway, check out Career when it's released. Okay. If anyone wants to check it out, go to career.foundationbox.studios. Sorry if I leaked that and you didn't want to, Davide, but I did anyway. So go ahead and check that out. Okay. So very elegant project file. But what else would we expect from Davide? Okay. So there we go. All right, we got one more last thing to show off, and I'm already at the 1 hour mark, but I did start a little late, so I'm not quite at the 1 hour mark. Okay. Let me go ahead and let's quit that. We don't need that. And let's go into stacks. And I don't have a demo project made for it. I think it's just in my sandbox project. Yeah, here we go. Where is... Hold on one second. I have to install the latest version. Give me 1 second. Shoot, I might have to rebuild that too. I guess I was working on the latest version of my laptop and I messed up. Let's see if this updates. Oh, it does. Cool. Score. Okay. So this is Prince. Okay. And man, is it cool. Okay. It is a new gallery stack. First off, let's look at the old, let's go ahead and look at the old version of Prince. Okay. Oops, let's see. Let's open up browser again. All right. Prince. So first off, the old color is ugly. Okay, I'm gonna keep the icon. I quite like the icon, but this yellow has got to go. So definitely ditching that. Okay. And yeah, one thing I like about Prince, my favorite little features is this little, as you hover, it kind of randomly rotates images, right, in different directions. It's quite cool. I liked that. Okay. And it's just a simple little light box, or, a simple gallery. Okay. Now there's no ability to kind of go between the next, in previous images. You kind of have to close the images and then, click on the one you want. So, yeah, but to me, I felt like the kind of the feature of Prince was this little hover effect. I really, really liked that. And I thought, okay, on top of that, let's just make this gallery a little bit nicer. And, let me introduce you to the new version. Okay. So the new version here, now I'm not sure what settings I currently have set in this project, but we'll find out in a second, won't we? Here, actually, let's just use preview. We don't need the library. Okay. So here, oh, why is that? What is that? Oh, okay. I was testing that one. Okay, there we go. All right. So here we'll notice that we have that same kind of hover effect. I've refined the shadows a little bit, but every time we kind of hover, it randomly rotates a particular direction, right? There's all kinds of things. Also, it works. The other demo, all the images were the same size, but you'll notice that I have portrait images and landscape images kind of all intermixed, and it all just kind of looks good. Now, when we open up the images, you'll notice that we have the ability to go next and previous. Okay. And it is just super fast, super responsive. Here I could just super quickly through all the images, right? Now I'm doing that. Actually, what's kind of cool is you can't see me. I was using the keyboard to actually navigate all of that. Okay. So this gallery is 100% keyboard navigable. Okay. I'm not sure how that works in preview. Oh, it does. If you notice, as I tab through these, I can hit the enter key. And then here I can either tab through the buttons, okay, or I can hit the next and the arrow keys on my keyboard just to go next and previous. Hit escape. I can just tab through the images, hit enter, next. Pretty cool, right? Okay. So yeah, pretty slick, all keyboard navigable. Let's go through some of the options that we have here. There are a lot of options, okay, but they're kind of broken up into logical sections here. So let's break them down a little bit so that it looks a little less daunting. So if we look at the Prince grid, this is kind of settings for the actual grid that we're building out. Okay, you can display alt as caption, so like every image can have an alt tag, and yeah, we can go ahead and display that as a caption. When you enable that, you get caption settings. We can change the colors, the size for small, medium, and large, and then we can also center that caption as well. Okay. We'll leave captions on. Why not? Okay. We can preload the full image on hover. Now, for performance, what it does is when I hover over an image, what it's going to do is in the background, it's going to load the full resolution of that image so that when I click on it, it's already there and loaded. Right. So things feel super quick and zippy, right? Just as like when I open this and hover over this button, it knows what the next image in there is going to be. And if I click on that, it already loaded that image in the background. Okay. So yeah, pretty cool stuff there. Okay. Very performant. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And then obviously for the grid, so we can have the max width, which is the max width of width, and then max height. The height is important for portrait images because if I didn't have a max height setting here, this portrait image, especially this one here, would be gigantic, right? Because it's super thin and tall. So having that max height option allows us to kind of reel in those portrait images so that they look good with our wider landscape images. Okay, and obviously the gutter, which is the gap in between each image. What's kind of interesting, I don't know if I like it very much, but you can actually set this to be 0, right? And it kind of looks like they kind of, go on top of each other a little bit. Okay, so kind of interesting. You can exasperate that a little bit if you throw some negative margins on some stuff. But anyway, I think having them spaced out is just a little bit nicer. All right, so that's the grid. Thumbnails, pretty similar, right? Pretty simple stuff. I'm not gonna go through all. We have border options, rounded corners, shadows on hover and standard. The scale, do we want it to scale on hover? So as you see there, it increases by 5% on hover. Okay. Rotate variance. This is the setting plus or minus 5 degrees. So when I hover over this plus or minus 5 degrees, it's going to be, it's going to vary that. So it's going to tilt plus or minus 5 degrees. If you want no rotation at all, set that to 0. And now you have kind of a standard gallery that doesn't rotate, but you still get hover effects. Okay. And if you don't want the scale, you just turn that off. Okay. And now we just get even more traditional kind of boring gallery. Okay. So let's turn some of those things back on. All right. Next, straight on hover. That allows it so when we hover over it, the image will always go straight. If we were to turn that off, essentially, it doesn't guarantee that the image is going to be straight when you hover over it. Okay, so it could be that plus or minus 5 degrees when you hover. It could be straight or it could not be straight. It's kind of a random behavior. Okay, and then obviously we can shuffle the rotation, which means if we turn that off, essentially now it'll rotate them on page load, but essentially it remembers that rotation. Okay, so that it kind of always goes back to that rotation when you unhover. So when I unhover, it always goes back to the same rotation it had before. Okay, so that's kind of options that the thumbnails have. Captions, we already saw caption options. Now, modal. So this is the what we see here, the light box. Okay, also called a modal. We can also display the caption inside the modal. Okay, so that one I guess doesn't have an alt tag. This one does. Okay, so here we have captions. And we can display the backdrop, which is this, or we can have no backdrop. You can say the max sizing, border colors. This is border on the image, okay, and the size and the border radius. The reason I give multiple options for border size is a lot of times on a bigger screen, a big fat border looks great, but on a small phone, a big fat border doesn't look great, right? So I wanted to give the ability to provide multiple border sizes depending on the size. Okay. And obviously we have options for the modal caption as well, just like we did the other one. Okay. Next is the modal. If you have a backdrop enabled, you can adjust the color and the blur of it. Okay. So it will, if there's a lot of content on the page, when you open an image, it will blur. This one covers the entire gallery, but it'll blur that background. And you can adjust that blur size. And lastly is the navigation, which is the forward, the previous and next buttons. Okay. You have the colors of the background, the colors of the icons. You can have the size of the icon, the opacity of it, padding, obviously, of the buttons. And then you can also position the buttons on the outside, right? So you can have the buttons on the outside. And then you can also have custom icons. Now, custom icons, by default, these are just text characters. But you can actually paste an entire SVG into here, and that should work perfectly as well. Okay. And last but not least, let's look at the individual image stacks. Okay. There aren't a lot of settings in here that they should all be pretty obvious. Okay. Obviously, we have the thumbnail and the sizing of the thumbnail, and then the full image and the sizing of the full image. If you don't supply a full image, it just uses the thumbnail. I was lazy here. Okay. So yeah, if you don't supply the full image, it will use the thumbnail image as the full image. Okay. And then here, by default, the alt tag is going to be used as the caption. Okay. But if you want, you can actually supply different alt tag and captions, which is pretty cool. Okay. So that's that. Now, the reason you might want to have these size options to be custom is maybe the thumbnail is a square thumbnail. So at this point, this would be different dimensions than the full one, right? So there's that. There are multiple different types of images that you can add. As we see here, we have drag and drop, but we also have a Prince URL, which allows you to add used warehouse URLs. Okay. Or I came up with a new concept with it, which is quite interesting. And this is a print image CMS. Okay. And what this will allow you to do is this will allow you to add in like total CMS macros here, super easy, or feeds macros, right? So yeah, if you're going to be using prints to automate a gallery using total CMS or feeds, you can use this, and it just makes the edit mode experience a little bit nicer. Okay. So yeah, if you're curious, just to how that would work, I'll just show the edit mode. I won't build out the actual, entire thing, because I know we're running late here a little bit. Where is it? Show me. Oh, I need to be in the full one. And prints. All right, prints 2. All right. Let's just add a new prints stack to the page. Okay. And we'll delete prints image. Here, I don't need that right now. Let's just hide that. Okay. Basically what I'm gonna do is we'll use feeds, since a lot of people have that instead of total CMS 3, right? Joe mode is not enabled in stack 6 yet. All right, so what we do is we would add feeds into here, and what you would do is you would add a Prince URL into there. Okay. I wonder why this is doing that. There it is. All right. So at that point, you would add your feed, right? Maybe it's a total CMS blog feed, okay? And then you can create a gallery, or a gallery of images from total CMS, or a gallery of images from whatever other feed you want, right? And at that point, this would create Prince images inside of the print stack. So that's the setup there, okay? If you're using this with total CMS 3, okay, what you would do is total CMS 3. You could use any of the loop stacks, right? So if you were doing a loop gallery, you can do a gallery, you could do a normal loop, whatever, right? But you can do inside gallery, you would loop through the gallery, then you'd have your Prince image in there, okay? And that's how you would do that. For some reason images aren't working well right now in edit mode, okay? So there we go. That's how you would do that. So you loop through the gallery, and then you'd plug in all your various macros here. Okay, so you'd go into total CMS, into the images, go into the link generator, create the style of thing that you want, copy that, and then you can create your paste that macro into here. Okay. So yeah, just kind of now you could still use the image URL, okay, option. It has all the same things. I just think this just makes things a little bit nicer since we have a text box right here. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of a nice thing to have in prints. Okay. Actually, this made me think that I should probably add that to Eclipse actually, right? So if we wanted to add Eclipse, I could add like a CMS image, CMS image video, and maybe CMS image, image, that then, in even color, maybe like a total CMS color. That could be kind of cool too, right? So yeah, we could have CMS versions of all of these slides. I think we'll definitely do that. So yeah, that'll be nice. So then instead of having in here, like normally you would use this image warehouse URL and you put the macros into here. But yeah, I think it's just nicer having these as text boxes, and then you could just plug in your macro directly into that. I like that. So anyway, what do you guys think of that? Let me see if there's any questions. I think we're pretty much calling it quits. You guys are probably tired of listening to me. I don't see any questions yet. So sweet. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoy, all the new stacks. I know a lot of you have already purchased a lot of them. So hopefully you continue enjoying them. If you haven't seen them yet, glad these overviews, hopefully they helped a little bit and give you a little sneak peek of prints, which should be released definitely I'll probably have it released on the community by the end of this week. Oh, it's already Wednesday though. Hopefully by the end of this week. Maybe I'll have something up. But it'll definitely be out and released by next week. Okay. Hey, Johan's here. Excellent. Or Johan. So thank you very much for all your hard work, Johan. Your good work. Very good work. I love what you've been. Also, have you added those to Made for Stacks? Pretty sure you have an account over there. I haven't checked. So there's this quick little plug if you guys haven't. All right, let's check to see if Johan's done his work here. Oops. Made for Stacks. Nuptials here. Okay. Let's see if we did first. Oh, it's there. Look at that. He's already added it. Cool. So yeah, check out if you haven't been on Made for Stacks. Cool place that lists all the stacks that are available. Nice little search. Eventually, this will probably be revamped with Total CMS 3. We can make it even better. Okay, but right now, this is all powered with Total CMS 1. Pretty cool stuff. So thank you, Johan. Glad to see that you already added your stuff. Here, if we go to, I think it's probably under Rapid Pages. Voila. Look at those awesomeness that he has there. Paginator's there too. So there we go. Go check out Johan's stuff. Go check out Davide's stuff too. Foundation box. There we go. Career's not here yet, but I'm sure it will be soon. So, I wasn't even sharing my screen. Damn it. I hate when I do that. Go check out Made for Stacks. There's Davide's stuff. Here is Rapid Pages, right? There's all the stuff Johan's done. So yeah, this last two ones, Paginator. Blog Clone's another cool one. I don't think I've talked about that one on a live stream. It allows you to actually clone a blog post. Man, talking about bringing Total CMS 3 features into Total CMS 1. We need people to upgrade, Johan. Cool. Anyway. Cool, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week. A great day. I'm going to get back to working on Total CMS 3 licensing. Okay, I'm building an entire licensing server. I thought it was only going to be a couple day project, and I'm already 3 days into it. And the end of the tunnel's really far away. You think licensing is a simple thing, but so many little edge cases for, upgrading here and going from this version to that version and doing this and that and wanting, extending and having trials and doing all that stuff. Yeah, so many things to think about and to code for. So it's fun, but I am enjoying it. But yeah, a lot of work to do. So take care, everyone. Just a side note about Total CMS 3 as well, since we're kind of talking about it. If you want to play with it, it is, as I said earlier, it is 100% production ready. It is super powerful. And it is by far it is so good. And yeah, you can buy it in the announcement section. Just search for Total CMS 3 beta. And there'll be an announcement post saying open access to Total CMS beta. There'll be links in there. It is a pay to play. Okay. So if you'd like to play with it, you have to pay. Okay. That's just the way I have it for the beta. Hopefully by the end of summer, I'm hoping to have live purchasing and upgrading maybe. I don't know if it'll be officially launched by then, but I should have all the licensing done and integrated into the CMS. Fingers crossed, hopefully. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Join us on Friday at the Hangouts. Basically a half hour from right now, but on Friday, a lot of fun. I'm sure I will be there this week. I missed last week. So I'll see you guys then. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. Go out there and make your websites great. Bye.